Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
Baka.
So guys,
Sup?
you like Baka and I taking a sip of our drinks at the exact same time right there?
Yeah, I kept trying to wait for the good time, but whatever. I'm just gonna force this to
He's
start.
like, is everybody ready? And they're like,
yeah.
Oh, totally.
Just give me a few minutes. You like my giant cup?
It's not a giant cup, it's a mug.
it's a giant mug. Meh.
It's not a giant mug.
No,
Meh.
a giant mug. I could find her one.
Please don't. Please don't.
It's
I don't
about
even know where to
like
put it.
that big around.
It's like a flower
Well, that's
pot.
the one that's when
It's
you
a
asked for
flower
a bucket.
pot.
That's when you asked for a bucket of coffee one time.
Can I
and
get a
sent you that
bucket of
picture.
coffee?
Oh,
That's essentially what it is. It's supposed to be a giant novelty mug for coffee.
ugh. What games has everybody been playing this week?
I have games I played.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh my god, it's only been like 3 weeks. Finally. So what were they?
Damn.
I played a little bit more Quantum Break. Now that I got the rig set up, it was the first thing I played on there, so I played through Activate. It's getting interesting plotline-wise. I'm really interested to see what they end up doing with this whole time shift thing that they've got going on, because you're like, I don't know quantum physics well enough, and I think that they're kind of dependent upon the fact people don't know quantum physics well enough to be able to get through this stuff. So it's good. It's fun gameplay, and it's getting more and more interesting. And then I of course played Sea of Thieves Friday night. That was my first stream back, and went really, really well. We just had a good time. We were on the seas for about 7 hours, I think, 7 or 8 hours, just playing around. So that was entertaining. And then I played last night a game that I've been waiting on. It was finally released, and I messed up and saw that Cook Carnage had played it too, and watched part of his one of his videos and went, "Yep, I'm playing this." And it's called Oxygen's Not Included. And basically the premise of the game, it is a strategy game because you're trying to survive and build and do all that where you're at. But they sent you to a planet. But instead of being on the planet, somehow you miraculously are inside the planet.
Okay.
And you have to find your way. Like you have to build inside the planet, and like you have oxygen that's there, but you also have items that will take oxygen away. Like the more people you have, of course, are going to take more oxygen away. The more plants you have are going to produce oxygen. But then there's also the issue of making sure that the gas pressure in there doesn't get too high.
Okay.
Because carbon dioxide and the oxygen are moving all the way around. But it's really cool because you got these overlays that'll show you where oxygen is, how much oxygen is there, what the temperature is. And the little characters that they've created are absolutely cute. And Grif, I know you're a sound person, that you like hearing cute sounds. This game, just on the sounds alone, you're sold. I'm telling you. Because just putting a... like when you're trying to put a block up, I want you to dig out this area or whatever. It's got this little sound, and then it goes, bloop, when you're doing it, and it's just like great little sounds that they've got on it. But it's characters are cute, fun game. I'm starting my village over, village I guess is you call colony, I guess, over tonight because we got to a point. I felt like I was moving faster than I should have, and got to the point to where I could not figure out how to solve the issue I was having. So yeah, I was afraid my characters were going to die, and I couldn't have that happen.
I've done that before.
I was going to be very sad. Yeah, so I just start over. Then they're in their own little universe, and they survived, and then I just create new ones. Makes sense to me. So I played it. Highly recommend. I'll let you know next week how it turns out, but right now, definitely recommend. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, I haven't done a whole lot of stuff this week. We played some Overwatch for stream a few times and whatnot. But my sister, as I've mentioned, has been playing Forza, and she's got a pretty hefty car catalog thus far, but she hasn't done anything to customize any of them. And she got this this stupid car out of a barn find, and I was like, I'm gonna customize that. And she's like, okay. So I promised her I'd customize it last week, and I didn't have time to, so I did it this week. And the car is one of those, it's called a Peel. It's big enough for one person. It has one door that you open to get in on the side, and that's it. That's how big it is. And it looks like your chair and then a tiny motor on the front is probably all that's under the shell, and that's it. So it's ridiculous and stupid. So I spent like an hour and a half customizing that thing because I don't know how, like looking at all of the stuff that people put up on the actual like marketplace thing, like you can go and download other people's designs and whatnot. I have no idea, one, how anybody has that kind of patience, because some of them are really intricate, and two, how they made some of those things possible. I just like, because you've got a set amount of shapes that you can use and colors that you can use, and then you look at everybody else's and you're like, how did you make, like there's one that I downloaded for her that is it's for a black Jaguar car, and it's got a black paint job, but somebody has taken the little shapes that you can use and they actually made a Jaguar on the side of the car, and I was like, I have no idea how you had the patience for that. I really
They
don't.
may have drawn it because you were using controller. They might have used mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, but even if you're using mouse and keyboard, you still only have so many shapes that you can use. You just have to put those shapes on the car and then position them and like size them, and then put a shape next to it and position and size, and it's intense, man. Like,
I'm sure there are better ways that you could probably like have it. You could probably upload a picture.
you must be able
And
to,
then
because I
stick
put
it.
a Powerpuffs decal on one of her cars.
Yeah, because
Would
that would
somebody hit
be
upload?
almost unbelievably difficult.
Well, the
and
Jaguar one actually
complicated.
looks like, because of some of the ways where it connects and and like curves especially, it looks like that one was made with the editor. It's not. It doesn't look like it was one that was somebody uploaded. It looks like somebody just spent 17 solid hours going, okay, let me put this sticker on and make it this size, and put this sticker on and move it here and make it this size. Like, holy
big ol' fuck
crap, it's a
that.
whole like super complicated mini game in and of itself to customize those things. So kudos to you guys in the Forza market that have tons of really tricked out crazy cool designs in your livery stuff. I'm astounded. I'm amazed. But last night, she got a truck that she unlocked right before she left last night. She's like, can you make this one look girly? So I spent this morning trying to make it look girly.
I like that you're being used for your artistic skills on that
Well,
one.
the thing
and
is
she's
she
also an
has-
artist.
She has more artistic ability than I do. It's just that she doesn't have the time to sit here and play with this. Because like I said, it takes forever to put, because you have to put each individual sticker on, like layer on, to make stuff. And so it takes quite a while of doing it. The upside is if you put stuff on the left side, you can mirror it on the right side. So you can just transfer it over if you want both sides to look the same. So at least there's that. That's what I've been doing. Chicken,
What y'all
Baka.
got?
I only played Overwatch this week and some League.
How'd your games
Been a
go?
slow week. About 50-50, like usual, win ratio. Not a very interesting week. Not this week. Yeah, that's all I've played.
You want to talk about what we're gonna?
Overwatch and team fight tactics.
You guys and your team fight tactics. Did you already tell Baka that you were gonna make him sad tonight because we're gonna play something?
Oh no, I didn't tell. But
There you go, Baka. You're gonna be sad.
well, he could play if he want. Well, he could play whenever he want. Well, I guess till tomorrow. But after the stress
all
test
the
they did
caveats.
on Thursday for the stress test for WoW Classic, they're like, okay, thank you guys for helping with the stress test. Here you go, have fun. Play the Classic beta for the rest of the weekend, and we're gonna go ahead and turn it off at Monday at 9 a.m. So it's like, oh, cool. So you know what?
So do these characters count to?
No.
This is just
It's like a
kind
typical beta. Nothing carries over.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is just to play around, fuck around with, letting people kind of dabble into it because they've got a lot. They want people to keep testing it, so they're like, fine, just let people play through the weekend. It's all good. We're gonna turn it off
And
on
it's
Monday morning
Monday
at 9 a.m.
5. No.
Yes.
At 5 is when they're. Yeah, I'm taking my laptop to work so I can try to reserve my games.
You
I've
probably
already
won't have much of
downloaded
a
it
problem.
on the laptop.
But yeah, that's what we're gonna play tonight. Is we're just gonna jump in and play some classic WoW for a few hours.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, kind of wet the old whistle while we have to wait a couple more weeks before we get to dive on in. I think we're just over 2 weeks left, so. And then we get to get playing. Oh, but yeah.
Awesome. So we can dive into some news.
Yeah, we actually have
Yeah.
news this week. I'm so surprised.
some
Right.
interesting stuff.
But wait, it's the is it this month on the 26th?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
that's shit. Okay, I gotta redo that on the calendar. For some reason, I was thinking it was next month.
What? Next month? Holy shit!
I
I've been-
don't know.
Yeah, it's this month, so it's in 2 weeks. Actually, 14 days, 15
Like,
days.
as much as Chicken's been talking about it, I'm really incredibly
I could-
surprised that literally anybody doesn't know what day it is.
Right?
Yeah, no.
I was thinking
Well, I
the
was
same thing.
marking things on the calendar, and I was on the September month because I've got doctor's appointment, so I think I marked it for that.
I gotcha. Yeah, so it is in 2 weeks. Not next Monday, but the following
Okay,
Monday.
I need to adjust that then when I go to work later.
Don't make
Well,
that
you
face.
take
I'll probably still have to work that Monday.
Yeah, we got to work that Monday too, but we got the Tuesday
I'm
off,
gonna
so
do,
that we'll.
yeah, I'm gonna do that Tuesday, Wednesday off at least.
Yeah, so we get to come home Monday night, play for a few hours, get our characters rolling, play all day Tuesday, and then just finish out the weekend. We have a 3-day weekend to play.
Yay!
We'll be
I
about level
love
15.
3-day weekends. I
And
love
by next-
weekends in general when they're real weekends. Ow. All right. What news do we want to talk about? Because there's a bunch, and you can just pick whatever jumping on point that you want.
We'll go back to something that we've talked about several times, which is the fact that, of course, one of the things that we're most frustrated about, and a lot of gamers are frustrated about, is the fact that Epic continues to buy exclusives. And so it sounds like it has escalated to a point to where people are actually starting to threaten
Don't threaten people. Stop
not just
it.
Epic,
Yes.
but also some of the game companies that they're buying their games.
Well, this is
for,
a two-person developing team. It's a husband and
Yes.
wife.
Yeah,
This is the Ooblets one, isn't it?
Yes.
What is whose
Ooblets.
phone is not on silent?
Was it me?
Mine should
Not
have
mine.
been.
You're in
Definitely
trouble
not
now.
mine.
I'm gonna find you after the show. Anyway, Ooblets.
You know where I live, kind of.
Yeah, I do.
All right. So the Ooblets game, which is an indie game, they bought exclusive. Epic did,
I don't know why it made that noise.
Doesn't matter. Keep going.
and then so basically they've gotten threats. I don't know what kind of threats because the article doesn't say. Chicken, you usually deal into Reddit. Did we know what was said?
It's pretty fucking awful. After this happened, he did a post and whatnot, and basically that outlined this whole situation that he was, and he put some stuff that was said by people, and it's pretty awful. I mean, it's stuff that I cannot repeat on this, and even if I wasn't on a podcast, I wouldn't repeat it. It's very, very racist-filled, condescending, and threatening.
Oh wow.
Look,
See,
people,
bad.
like,
it's fine
look-
if you're upset. It'd be upset at the actual cause of the problem, which is they sold out and went to Epic Game Stores, even though they were being funded by their crowd through a Patreon, which is shitty on their part, and that makes them shitty people, and I 100% agree with you. But there is literally no reason to bring up death threats or anything to do with race. Shut up.
Yeah.
Grow up.
It was-
Stop being immature idiots.
You know,
Yes.
because we're so adamant that video games don't cause violence that we're sending death threats to
Yes. Stop
Yes.
being
Right.
part of the problem,
Right.
dickheads.
And I will say that this guy does not seem to understand how the internet works very well, because after they came out with that, he kind of was a little taunting with it about
Don't
it.
do that.
You know.
Never encourage
Don't
that.
do that.
Yeah, don't encourage the internet, because I mean it's probably because he's like, oh, don't worry about it, guys. Whatever. We needed the money. It's like, just talk
This
to
is-
your audience. Don't be dumb.
That
Yeah,
sounds
that's
the
like
people
mistakes
you've gotta
all
talk
around.
to.
Like,
That's the people you got to talk to. Those are the ones that make. When you're dealing with this, look, everybody's frustrated with this situation. You know how you threaten them? You say, "I'm not going to buy from your store." That's about where it needs to go.
Yeah, that's the end right there. It's like, all right,
That's-
fine. I'm not going to buy your game. I'm supporting
I'm
you,
not
but
gonna
I
buy
can't
it.
follow you. Yeah,
You know?
and also it didn't help that Tim Sweeney went ahead and tweeted something that riled the nest up a little bit too.
it's because he loves
Again,
poking
dumb.
the friggin' hornet's nest because he thinks it's a great publicity stunt. What a friggin' idiot.
Right?
Yeah.
I very
he
obviously have
kills me
feels
on this.
about this.
I couldn't tell.
I think
really
it's
wish
a dumb
you would-
situation. And I don't think
Yeah.
that you all should be part of the problem. Never, make death threats to somebody across the internet, especially over something as benign as the fact that the game that you want to play is not on the platform that you want it. Yeah, I'm upset about that too. Epic Game Store is shitty, and people that were crowdfunding a game and take money from Epic Game Stores and make it exclusive, also shitty. But there is no reason you should ever cross that line.
Agreed, totally.
Yep, I want to
Agreed,
that.
totally.
Don't be stupid, stupid.
Yeah, there's never a reason for it. So, unfortunate. And it's just a 2-person team too, so they've been attacked pretty heavily.
To be fair, like on the not related to the hate side of it, this definitely is a root of many problems. They were crowdfunding their game on Patreon. They had a nice, platform of support and whatnot. And then Epic said, "You want this fat sack of cash?" And they're like, "Hell yeah, we want a bunch of cash. Fuck those people." Like, that's just indicative of the human condition, though.
I'm not going to go ahead and say they said fuck those people. It was like, oh, a nice big fat sack of cash, which means we can just focus on our game and not have to worry about anything else. And it's like, well, part of the reason why you had a following is because you weren't a part of that big sack of cash. Like, you were just another developer working down here with the rest of us. And now, because technically you have sold out.
Yeah, you did.
So it kind of feels like you kind of lost a little trust with your crowd that you've been trying
especially since you were crowdfunding it for one platform, and then after people had already pledged money to you for that, it will not be on that platform.
Yeah, that is always the issue, man.
I think that's the crux of it. Like, if you had started your crowdfunding and said we intend to be exclusive to the Epic Store in hopes that they give us, an incentive bonus for doing so, and people still crowdfunded you, more power to you. That's amazing.
If you said that you were exclusive to the Epic Store, they wouldn't give you any money because you're already exclusive. They don't need to buy you at that point.
There's the crux of it too. It's all about who can you throw the most cash at.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Well, speaking of exclusivities, right now there's a bunch of PlayStation fans that are up in a roar because Death Stranding has left the part of Sony's website that says exclusive.
Which is an interesting thing. I didn't expect that, really. Like,
yeah,
I didn't expect them to be to want to do a different. But I think somebody had mentioned seeing a Steam logo the last time Death Stranding had showed some stuff. So I'm wondering if that's part of it, or maybe it was an Epic logo.
Yeah, I mean, I find it ironic too, because isn't Sony the one that invested into this?
Sony invested into it. They've paid into it, but to be fair, if you look at the David Cage games, they've moved over to Epic.
Yeah.
So you've got games that were exclusive to PlayStation that are moving over to Epic. If I had to guess, this game is moving over to Epic as well. And it looks like they're doing a PC version of the game, and I hate the fact that they're doing
console. Fuck it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'll buy it on PlayStation. I don't have a problem with that. And I think it's weird that Sony's kind of throwing themselves that direction, but I feel like Epic and Sony have a lot in common when it comes to that. Trying to buy exclusivity is kind of their thing. So, and so maybe they feel like they have an ally in all that. But it is interesting. They're wanting, we've heard rumors that they're wanting to put the game on PC. If that's the case, then if they go the route that other Sony exclusive games have gone, it's going to be on an Epic Store. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping it's just on PC, and just not available for the Windows Store. You know what I mean?
Here's the question: If something this big and prominent as Death Stranding said we're going to do a PC release, and they were definitely going to be on Steam, do you think Epic Store says, well, we don't want you on our platform? Or do you think that's too big of a title to turn down?
No,
I think it's too big of a title.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Epic's going to turn down anyone that wants to be on their store. I just think that they're more willing to purchase somebody to be exclusively on their store.
Yes.
Do you think that they would take the avenue of turning down if you turn down, like they offered you money for an exclusive deal with them and you said no? Do you think at any point they would turn down those people? Be like, well, you didn't want our money, so you don't get to be on our platform.
Yeah,
maybe. I'm just wondering where we all think the pettiness lies.
Maybe, but I think the difference is I feel like when somebody offers you the money up front, you realize you're getting a lower cut on the back end of it in order to make up for the difference because you're getting a guaranteed amount, and then where I feel like Epic already knows that if they're on my format, I'm getting money off of them every time, and you just raise the percentage. That's the way I would look at it.
Yeah, I could see
Like
that.
because you're right now they're one of the lower percentages, right?
Yeah.
Well, part of the reason they're the lower percentage is because of the fact they're fucking paying people right up front. So they're giving
I
people
wonder
money,
if-
and they're taking
I
a lower
wonder if
percentage on the
they,
back end.
If like Epic gets a majority of money from a certain amount of sales at the beginning, like it's like, okay, we're gonna give you this much. It's worth 100,000 of your game sales. Now we're gonna take a bigger percentage of those first 100,000, but then after that you get your normal percentage because they've got to make their money back because it's got to be an investment, right? Nobody does anything for free.
Correct.
So it's kind of like, here's hoping you sell this many, and if not, then it's just kind of like, well, another one of those stick in the mud kind of things. Oh, Epic made a bad investment, but they seem to be making a lot of investments these days. So I don't see them just giving the money and then giving them even more so afterwards, like 88% of all the sales, because then they would barely fucking make any money.
Yep.
So I mean.
Yep. I think they'd take a higher cut. I mean, eventually would take a higher cut. At least I would. I would be like, hey, we're offering you this extra money. It's up here, and this is the percentage it's worth, which is the one they're publishing and telling everybody it's worth. And then if you don't follow suit with that, then they take a higher cut.
Yeah.
And then the percentage would be the percentage, or it could be an average. We're averaging it out based on what we're taking away from these people, and giving it out. I think it's. There's something shady going on that nobody's really talking about, and
there's got to be something in there somewhere. Like,
Somehow,
maybe we should develop a game. Back. Maybe we should develop a game and then get Epic to offer us a contract so that we can read it and see what it actually says.
Yes, that seems like a good idea. We have plenty of money to go ahead and start the development process.
Well, you best get the coding, Baka.
Too much work.
No.
Too funny. Let's see. Leaving that one, we can go into Valve.
I was going to say, since we were talking about death threats and stuff, the Japanese dude.
Japanese guy.
Square,
yeah.
That guy.
Good call.
Oh my god.
All right. How mad do you get at a publisher? Like, most of us get mad at publishers about something. But how mad do you get mad about a game that you bought to the point to where you start giving death threats? And not just a game, folks, a mobile game.
Yeah.
So in Japan this week, you had a 40-year-old man that was arrested for sending death threats to Square Enix, even citing that it would be a repeat of the Kyoto animation, which is where 35 people died.
That was, first of all,
July 18th.
Way too fucking soon. How dare you try to fucking make a threat based on that? Holy shit. If you want to get arrested, you make a threat of something that is super fucking recent, because they will find your ass immediately.
He was mad at losing in a game, which means I guess it's a multiplayer and he lost in a game.
Yeah, they're not saying which game he's referring to, although apparently it's a mobile game. So, and to me, this feels like just a modern day version of like gambling addiction. Like, I know people have like lost their fucking marbles inside of casinos and whatnot. Like, they lose all their money. They're at the bottom of the barrel. They just fucking apparently just lose it. So I guess this guy was at the bottom of the barrel, and apparently he just lost it and decided to write a death threat of something of that caliber. So, I mean, it's a new generation of problems.
I guess that's true.
So, I mean,
this actually brings up Chicken's point. If you look at the end of it, the second arrest, death threat from the other one was a nurse who spent like $1,500 trying to get an item in the game and never got it.
It's in a gacha game, so it's like a gambling part of the game, which, I mean, it definitely is indicative of the bigger problem of loot boxes and things like that, is because it stresses people out, and it.
And they've also been part of Japanese society for a while, right? Because you've got, like, that's part of their cultural stuff too, right? And how loot boxes started.
Kind of. It needs to be labeled as gambling. Like, that's pretty much, it's stealth gambling, which as long as they keep the label off of it, they don't have to regulate it like they do actual gambling.
Right.
So
Until I like that term.
Until I saw it in the comments, until we get that label stamped on there, it's going to continuously cause problems because these people.
I think
people don't know what they're getting into.
I think you put it in there and you say it's got microtransactions with gambling type elements, because I think the whole thing is, again, yes, you're trying to get an item, a specific item that's out there. That's the definition of a loot box the way we know it, which is spending the money over and over again trying to get it. Where, to me, gambling is still, I'm physically putting money in to physically get something back out of it. That's the gamble itself. Like something physical.
It's just digital gambling then.
Well, but yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's gambling like elements because you're gambling inside the game, so therefore it is a digital gambling. But it's just people don't look at it the same way as they do real gambling, because that is a physical thing. It's our brains trying to adjust.
It's even worse then, because at least if you gamble in real life, you have a chance to win something.
Correct.
If you gamble in this, you get nothing.
Well,
like, even if you do win, you still technically earn nothing.
But that's the way the video game companies look at this. What they're looking at is this gambling or not, right? And they're saying no, it's not, because there's the definition of gambling says you have to physically get something back out of it. You have a possibility of winning something. Where it is just something that's digital that you're paying $1,500 for essentially and still not getting it.
But digital can be very, very real to a lot of people.
Well, you're correct, but we have not evolved enough society-wise to be able to consider that is. You're correct, but our laws have not evolved to that point.
Our laws haven't, but I would say that our society has. What, like Baka said, digital is very real to a lot of people, especially the younger part of our current generation, because that's what they've grown up with. And so sometimes things in the digital realm to them are just as material as like something that you could pick up in your house right now.
Yeah, like Oak was saying, like I was reading the actual gambling is the wagering of money or something of value on an event with an uncertain outcome with the primary intent of winning money or material goods. And then it says gambling thus requires 3 elements to be present: consideration, risk, and a prize. See, if it has those 3 elements, it is technically considered gambling.
So even our digital stuff
is
but it's still technically it is. But the first part of the law has not adjusted for the digital age.
Exactly. And that's where it needs to change, because it doesn't technically have to be a material good. It can be a digital good.
Which is why you're able to get away with it as a video game company, is in Epic and all these other companies that are out there that are putting loot boxes into their system. The reason they can do it is because our law has not changed to go along with that.
Mm-hmm. Gotta adapt. Things have to change and evolve with it too.
We worry about gun violence and everything else being spread from video games, but yet we're not worried about that.
And it has been scientifically proven that kids between 16 and 19 who play these games are more susceptible to gambling. And there's science backing it up, and there's no science to say that the violence of video games makes people more violent. But let's focus on the one that doesn't make sense.
Why would we focus on science?
That's what our president did this week. And then Walmart.
So
that's a thing if you want to jump over to that topic.
Yeah, because you can own the school year like a hero.
No,
that was terrible marketing.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that was some employee that knew what that was gonna.
You have to. Like, can you really? Well,
or that was that.
My guess
or
is
you could be like
probably his last week or something, and I mean, Walmart treats their employees usually like shit. So.
Yeah, but you can't assume that either, because I had friends that were back that when I was in high school that would go in and move the signs around too.
Yeah. It could have been that
so it is a possibility you got some troll that thinks that he's funny and put it in, turned around and did that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
So that just could be a possibility that way too. But for those that are trying to keep up with what's going, our hearts do go out for all the families and stuff that have been recently affected by recent shootings here in the U.S. 22 people were killed in a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, and of course 10 people were killed in Dayton, Ohio as well. But with that, there's just been this whole spiel about the fact that video games are causing violence. And so Walmart has decided that they're going to remove all violent signs and then mainly video game stuff all over their entire stores. Now,
well, they pulled the hunting videos from the hunting section too, at least.
Yeah, like it's like there's a lot of things video like they're like no violence on the TV. So if you've got a movie playing, it can't be one that's got violence. And to be fair, I think if one of my family was part of the victims, I would probably be cool with that because I think it's important for them to. It's so soon. You need to do something about it on that aspect of it.
Yeah.
The only thing that disturbs me, and this is one of the things we talked about before the show, was the fact that they've removed all this signage, but they've not stopped selling guns.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
okay.
really mixed signal, which is basically like, we don't like violence, and gun violence is obviously bad, but our bottom line says we're going to sell these fuckers because, hey, they make us a good buck.
Okay, I had this perfect, this analogy. Okay, so in this state, in the state that we live in, Alabama, you have to buy alcohol at a very specific store. It's the ABC store. It's where they sell it. But you can buy these lethal weapons inside of a grocery store? There should be specific stores to sell these, too.
Because alcohol doesn't lead to any problems. I don't know what you're talking about, Chicken.
Well, it's
Well,
liquor.
but you could buy liquor, but you have liquor stores too. But they have to buy it from the ABC store.
Yes,
also.
Exactly.
The
You should have
liquor is
one
regulated
organization.
incredibly well in this state, as far as who's distributing it, where it's coming from, what it is.
So, I mean, they do that with alcohol. Shouldn't they be able to do that with another material or object?
I think yes, they could, but I think the other thing behind it is too. I think if I walk into a store and I buy alcohol and I go home and I drink alcohol, I guess their thought process is the fact that I'm not hurting anyone at that point. So
some people will drink the alcohol on the way home and then kill someone.
Right, they're drinking on the way home, so they're regulating who you can buy it from, where you're buying it from, so you do that. But from the gun standpoint, I think they're looking at it and they're going, it's a Second Amendment right. They're allowed to be able to do that, which is, here's my thing. I actually don't have a problem that Walmart sells guns. I have a problem with the fact that after this incident, they didn't at least remove them for a little while and just be kind of like, hey.
Well, I think a lot of our gun sales stuff is the problem lies in how easy it is to get them, not that we sell them in some cases.
Like,
although some guns we shouldn't sell. Like, nobody needs to have automatic rifles like that. But
oh, come on. You have never had 30 to 50 feral hogs run at your family while they're playing in the yard.
let me
Come
tell
on,
you,
what
that
do you
is something
expect us
I
to
have
do?
not yet experienced in life.
Okay, so for
maybe build a fence.
so for the folks who don't know, okay, so there was a tweet. Somebody said something, and then because they were talking about how people don't need assault rifles. I mean, you're not going to find yourself in a scenario in which an assault rifle is the
only
live or die
option,
scenario.
yeah.
And somebody replied with, "Well, what do you expect me to do if a horde of 30 to 50 feral hogs come charging towards my house while my children are outside?" And it's like, wow, where do you live? What kind of scenarios have you been finding yourself in?
Right? Like,
I'm going to
maybe,
go with Arkansas.
Maybe in that case, though, it would be to your benefit to invest in a home fencing system of some sort. A nice privacy fence. I mean, hogs are not notoriously great at climbing, so like a 6-foot privacy fence would probably do the trick for the most part.
Like Trump, build a wall around your house.
We are not going to go there, but
yeah, we're definitely not gonna fall into the politics side, but we're gonna stay on the video game side of this.
You want to talk
but
politics?
from a
come
video
to us
games-
individually.
from a video game standpoint, the way I'm looking at this is, again, I think it's the right decision from a corporate standpoint, PR standpoint. I just don't understand why they didn't just go the whole hog, right?
Because it would cut into their bottom line, and you know that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not so much about what the right thing is; it's what's making them money.
Man, if everybody did the right thing, this planet would be so fucking amazing to live on. Everybody would be happy. Nobody would suffer. But if people have a choice
would still
between
find
the
something
right,
to bitch about, bro.
Yeah, I guess that's.
It's sorry.
He has more money than me. Shut up. And
That
eat
guy's
your
happier
Wheaties.
than I am.
Shut up and eat your Wheaties, motherfucker.
I don't like Wheaties.
But I want frosted Wheaties, not plain.
No, your neighbor gets frosted Wheaties this week. You get normal Wheaties. You can have frosted Wheaties next week.
I'm just gonna hoard all my.
Wasn't there supposed to be an Apex Legends tournament that they also canceled because of this? Like, I think that was going to be televised.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. they canceled it in lieu.
Yeah,
of
they said
the-
any type of promotional stuff that has to do with a violent video game, they had to
I would just
do
like
that
to
as well.
point out that some of the people citing video games mentioned specifically Fortnite as being the most violent, horrible, disgusting video game ever, and it's like you could have gone with a
it's
lot of things,
the
but you
most
went
most
Fortnite.
horrible, yes, but I mean,
Not
Violent?
the most
No.
violent. Like that's cartoon
Well,
violence at definitely
at
at the
best.
peak.
But these are the same people that were arguing about Tom and Jerry even being on television because of all the freaking violence. And it's like, come on, man.
Man,
It's
I watch
Tom
it all
and
the
Jerry.
time, and I play games, and I'm not a violent individual. I am far from being a violent individual.
I
But
would
I play
yell about things, but that's it.
games. I play violent games, but it's not gonna fucking affect. It's not gonna
And
affect
moderately
me.
stab people.
I grew up on horror movies. That doesn't make me a serial killer either.
That's
Yeah,
true.
like these forms of media do not create these people.
No.
They don't.
They don't. There's
There's-
science
they-
that just does not work.
No, you know what causes this issue? It's society in general and the fact maybe their
Yes.
household, the way they're treated at school. Here's the thing. Don't be shitty to anyone, and guess what? It might cut down on violence.
Holy shit, you're right. I think
You know,
you
I'm
might
sorry.
be onto something.
This, you know, some of these people could be bullied in school, whatever. Like in one of these cases, yes, it happened to be race related that went along with that. But my thing is just be nice to everybody. If you're kind to people, then their thought process changes too. You know, don't
Exactly, 'cause they
assume
don't feel
somebody doesn't
attacked.
like you because of who you are. Instead, treat them nicely and see how they respond. They might like you, and you just never knew it. That's just the way, you know, that's the way we are as humans. We all want that validation of being liked.
Well,
we all
some
do.
of us do. Some people are just
Some people just want to watch the world
Just-
burn.
yeah. Some people are just chaotic. Like literal, their alignment is chaotic, and they just want to watch the world.
But again, I say that's because of the way they started their life to start with. I think it's their upbringing and everything else. Because most of us, the reason they want chaotic is because they didn't feel that they were loved to start with. There's an issue there. There's a problem. It's a human nature. That's a proven fact. All of us want to feel like we're being liked in some way. And now that might be
Unless you're
I'm
a
being liked by
sociopath,
other.
in which case you
Yeah,
don't care.
well,
Yeah,
that that falls into mental illness.
Well,
If
yeah,
you
and I
can
mean, that's
catch
what I'm
those
saying is I would
things
say
early-
that some of this definitely should be attributed to mental illness as well.
Yes,
Instead
which
of
we
just
should have a
you
better.
weren't loved enough. It's that you actually have a defect that
Yeah.
causes you to want these kinds of ridiculous scenarios.
Which
Right.
we should have better infrastructure to support people like that, but we don't have that either. So many fucking problems.
Because
that we
it's just
are
video
not
games,
fixing.
you guys. Video games make
Let's get rid of
everybody
video
violent.
games and all the problems will be solved.
It's video games, but books, rock and roll, but witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
Yep.
D&D.
It's always something,
those
but the problem.
Satanists.
Nothing but
There's actually an entire documentary on Satanism right now. I just
You
saw
know,
the trailer
never
for
the
it.
fact that maybe one of the parents was addicted to drugs or a drunk or something. That has nothing to do with it. It's because
Definitely the
little Timmy liked video games and rock and roll.
Little
Yeah.
Timmy likes Fortnite, so he shot people in real life. It's like,
Yep.
did he do so after jumping out of a flying bus? Because if not, I'm not going to believe your Fortnite scenario.
Yes, this is the same flack that's been given 100 times with different stuff. Like he just
Yep.
said, you know, it could be a horror game problem. I mean, a horror movie
Movie.
problem. It could be, you know, you're dealing with rock and roll. Oh yeah, you know, my son listened to Ozzy Osbourne and he ended up killing himself because he has a song that has to do with suicide. Well, if you actually listen to the song, you would know better. But what else?
Yeah.
You know,
I
it's
mean,
like. It's like,
that
come
they
on,
want
man.
smoke screen. Anything
Yes,
that they
it's a
can to
distraction.
distract from the real
This guy,
problem.
This guy went into a church and bombed people. Why? Because he watches Pootie Pie. Are you kidding me right now? Like, it's just like,
That's
please.
not his fault, man.
It's not a thing. Like, just stop trying to make it video games and content creators from video games the issue. It's
Unless
not.
they're bad
there are
content
shitty
creators in which
yeah,
they
there are
spew out
shitty
hate.
people out there that are doing some toxic shit as content creators. Not gonna lie on that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still up to that individual to go out and do stupid shit. It's not the person that's creating the toxic environment necessarily that's doing that. So.
Yes and no, because I say that because the girl who talked her boyfriend into killing himself was prosecuted for that. If
is true.
you get pushed hard enough, by someone trying to make you do something specific, yes, it can be on that person that pushed you too hard.
I would agree with that.
So you got to be careful with these. Like, this whole thing is just a very thin, blurry line that everyone's like, oh, you step over it. No, you step over.
Yeah, we definitely need to take a long, hard look at some of these things and start redefining some of the ways that we prosecute things and some of the things that are prosecutable, essentially. We just need to kind of rework some of our stuff as our technology and our time advances.
Yeah, it's like our government is still back in 1776, and they haven't fucking come forward to 2019 yet.
I'd say they're stuck in the 50s. A lot of governments got stuck in mid-century of last century and haven't really progressed with the times since then. So.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I feel like
we're getting political again, though. We should probably look at some of the other stuff that we have to talk about this week, because politics is not what we're here for. Although, if you want to talk politics, it's
always game related. So
it is. If you want to talk politics or anything else like that, I will post a link to the Discord like I always do right under here. You're welcome to get us there or on Twitter.
Yep, that'll work.
Bam, bam.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. Speaking of loot boxes and stuff that we were talking about earlier, looks like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo won't allow loot boxes in consoles unless publishers disclose the drop rates. Now, that is for any new game that's coming onto the platform, according to Nintendo. It's for
so
any
does
of
the old games get, like, Overwatch?
If there's an
update,
they'll get grandfathered in. But if there's an update to any game that creates the loot box, that's the same as doing a new game. So let's say, what was it, Shadow of
War?
Shadow War.
Yeah, Shadow War. So when they did that one, it was to, they removed them for a little while, and if they brought them back at that point, and let's say it was on one of these formats, then it would be they would not be grandfathered in because they brought it back.
Because they're returning to.
Yeah.
Well, I think they did put them back in, except the thing is that you can't buy them with real money. You have to play the game and you can earn them through, which I don't. Yeah, I don't think you have to put drop rate things on it because you technically you can't spend money on them.
Yeah, anything that's a microtransaction is basically what they're saying. And I love this. This is something we've been asking for. This is something we want to do. And I love the fact that it's not a government of any country that's doing it. It's the people that actually are being affected by it, because think of the potential lawsuits for all three of those.
Woo.
Well, and I think that it's also something that those drop rates should be displayed on the page with the loot boxes.
Absolutely.
Like with Overwatch, you go to open a loot box, it needs to say it right there above it when it's opening.
Yeah, this is your percent chances for each of these items.
It needs to be somewhere obvious. It can't just be like, well, if you go into settings and go to licensing and agreements, it's under that, because nobody's going to do that. It needs to be somewhere that's in your face every time you go to look at a loot box. So you have to be aware of it.
Hold on. I'm going to absolutely 100% help every Fringer publisher out there right now.
Pop up?
Okay. The way that you're going to do this is do the little thing that pops up like she was talking about, and then you create somebody. If you're a publisher somewhere or a developer somewhere, you create a game similar to, like, let's say Overwatch. Create something similar to that's a popular game, and you increase the amount of payout. Because so you turn around, now your odds are better with our game than they are with their game.
True.
You know what I mean? So, like, you just put them up there. I'm sorry, you like competition? There you got it. New competition.
I just had this fucking unbelievable thought when somebody was talking about, like, percentages and what you get from from loot boxes and whatnot. That's exactly what bosses are in MMOs and whatnot. Like, if you kill a boss, it gives you a list. Like, you could look up the list of items, and it gives you a percentage chance of what will drop from that boss. Technically, bosses are loot boxes. In a sense,
they're loot bosses.
And in Diablo and some of the bosses in WoW, some of them were referred to as loot pinatas because they're so easy and the loot.
Yeah, but the thing with Diablo and whatnot, like their loot lists are absolutely fucking massive, whereas in WoW, like their loot lists are very stable. Like, you can't get a drop from a different instance in this instance. Like, this guy has these items that can drop, and these are the percentages that you can get.
Yeah, there wasn't too many of them that were called loot pinatas, but there were a few here and there.
Pinatas.
But,
I love that term.
Diablo
That's a Fortnite thing, by the way, loot pinatas.
But I think there's a difference in bosses that drop loot versus loot boxes.
Yeah, well, one, you don't have to spend money on it. The other one's just part of.
I
But
paid
he's talking
$30 to down this raid boss. Where's my loot?
But
To be
but
fair,
I think he
people
was
have done
talking
that
about the
too.
percentages that you would be
Yeah,
able to look
like-
up.
Well,
The
that's
percentages
true.
was the point.
But I don't
Matt.
think that you'd have to disclose one versus the other.
No, but I think it was just the percentages. It's good that you
Yeah.
can get that information on one you're not spending money on, but you can't get it on
Exactly.
one that you would be
I
spending
know,
money on.
right? Because bosses, you have the percentage. You can be like, oh yeah, let me see what this boss drops. Okay, there's a 3% chance he'll give me this, so I'm gonna have to run it for a while. Instead of, oh, I buy a loot box, I have no idea what the fuck is in it, and I have no idea what my chances of getting what I want is in it. Oh
So
well.
what's the percentage of that mount that Grif still hadn't gotten?
The one that Baka stole?
There is a percentage, and you can find those. It's like 0.06 or some shit.
It's like 0.01%. Let's find that.
Yeah.
It's invincible from Ice Crown Citadel.
Yeah, nice.
I would
Yeah,
like to say right
never
now, if
got
anything
Nicholas.
makes her rage, that's one of them.
You know
and She
what?
hasn't
We're about to put up
threatened-
our WoW accounts again too. Guess what I'm gonna do before we play tonight? You're not going with me, Baka. Gonna go by myself because
I
I'm
gotta
gonna
gotta
take it
work
again.
tonight, so
Yeah.
It's a 1% drop. 1 out of every 1,000 or 100 tries. And you can only do
You've
it
tried how many
once.
times?
You can only do it once per week.
per
so
character.
you have-
so
yeah, per
technically, I can do
character.
it like 6 times a week because I have 6
So
characters
you have a
that can clear Ice
6%
Crown.
chance every week to have it drop.
And it did drop once, and Baka took it. Now it's gone forever.
I was gonna give it to you if I won a Grif, but unfortunately he yoinked it.
And then he rides it all the time in front of me. Like it's just insult to injury at that
That's
point.
fine. Ride the headless horseman mount. That motherfucker's never gonna get
she
it.
does.
I do.
Yeah.
Every time he pulls out Invincible, I'm like, fuck you, buddy.
We should all just ride around on the headless horseman mount.
That's funny.
What else we got? Now that I'm super salty
A-
again.
anyway, the Microsoft, Nintendo, whatnot. Microsoft has a new patent that hints at plans to turn your smartphone into an Xbox device. Which I think this is actually pretty fucking neat because it feels like they almost want to create their own version of the Switch because one, you've already got the technology. Boom. There you go. You got your Switch console already. All they have to do is create the peripherals and
They've got that cloud technology too.
I was about to say they're working on their cloud and game streaming technology, which I mean they're gonna hit the little trifecta. You got your console, you got your peripherals, and then you're gonna have your streaming service. Boom. There you go. They just created a Switch out of stuff that we already have.
It's so tiny.
It is. I mean, I'm not a fan of mobile gaming, so I wouldn't do it. But I think this is interesting if it comes to fruition because I know that these companies love to patent everything.
But is your
they
issue
think
with
of.
mobile gaming because of the size of it, or is it because the mobile gamings aren't really great mobile games?
Yes
That-
and yes.
There's really not many mobile games. The only mobile game I play, it's called Flow Free, and it basically is just connect the dots. It's a brain teaser kind of thing, and that's the only thing I play on my phone.
So you like prefer puzzle games if you're doing it.
I have a
kinda
couple
what I
Yeah.
do.
of things that I
Kind of
play
burns
on my phone.
time and whatnot.
You
but
got
I
the
have-
rhythm game that you do, the
Yeah,
BTS
the
rhythm game.
BTS is like the only thing that I do with my phone these days. Anyway, that's not true. I have the BTS rhythm game and the BTS pseudo stalker game that I'm playing because my sister and I are just addicted to that. And I play a game called Block, which is basically like Tetris, but you have 3 shapes and you can put them anywhere on this grid, and you're trying to make a block to make them disappear and get points. That's it. I mean, you can play it forever.
Yeah, I think
I've
it's
got
more or
tons
less
of game. I've got tons of games on mine, but majority of the ones I like are the ones that I can interact in the world. So like Pokemon Go and the Wizarding World.
We all have very different
I think they're very
ways that
like,
we interact with phone games.
but I think it's all like all of us are pretty damn casual now.
Yeah, it's definitely
We're pretty
casual. I play
casual.
Chisel on my phone too.
So
They're
I think-
I do Pokemon Go. I tried a few
My
other
Chuzzle
games
doesn't
here
work.
and there, and then I played them for like 2 or 3 days. That I uninstalled them because they're boring.
Yeah, like I've downloaded a couple that are like RPG games, and it's like, yeah, cool.
No, I'm
and
just
then
not
you get,
gonna invest that
Then
kind
you
of
hit
time.
this fucking wall where it's like, wait 16 hours, pay us a bunch of money, or just
Yeah.
redo the same thing
The,
over and over
the
again.
Star
It's
Trek
like,
game
oh.
is kind of like that. It's like you go through the levels and missions and everything really quick, and then when you hit a certain point, it's like, okay, now I've got to wait like a week before I can finish this mission because now I've got to go through and do all these builds, which takes anywhere between 12 hours to a day for each one of these things, and then I can get a better ship, and then or I can spend $100 and get all the materials, and I'm like that is too damn expensive.
Yeah, it's just.
And then I started playing that Gundam gunplay game a little bit, and
About the same. That's how I feel about most mobile games. Some are good, some are bad. Some are
also
good, most are
drains
bad.
my battery like really
Yeah, a lot
bad
of the
for some
mobile
reason.
games are battery hogs for sure. The Chuzzle one does it on mine.
I mean, I still do Pokemon Go with it.
But it's Chuzzle.
Well, I mean, which is why I still play it, but I have to. It drains the battery really quickly, and it does heat up the phone more than any other game I play. I don't know why.
Was it free?
Yeah.
Of course.
That's part of the reason why it's not optimized.
Yeah, well, I still love it. You can't stop me. They're
Yeah.
cute
Can't
eyeballs
stop
and they're
We
made
can
for
if we
things.
take your phone away.
I will beat somebody. Don't talk about people being violent over video games. That's about the only way.
Yeah. No kidding. I mean, hell, even people in esports always shake each other's hand or pretty, even tempered whenever they lose a heated game. I mean,
You-
it's not like
you
they
mean
start coming over there
Most
swinging.
sporting events, like
Yeah, I know, right?
all their
Break
aggression's
they
put
can't
into
use
the
a
game
mouse
they're
anymore.
playing.
Except for hockey, them motherfuckers just start just going at it. That's part of the
But-
game, though.
But the aggression is taken out on the actual ice,
Mm-hmm.
and then afterwards, they
They
talk
usually hug it
between
out
teeth,
or give
Hug
a
it
high
out.
five or that.
Hug it out,
Yeah,
you
it's
guys.
like,
Hug
okay.
it out.
Because it's kind of like, all right, you knock me down, I'm gonna get up, and I'm a little upset. I'm just gonna start swinging and whatnot, and then, after we're done and cooled off, it's like, okay, I got you. Get it out, air your dirty laundry.
I'm
and
glad
then
that I
we're
don't
good
have to
go.
hug it out with my rando teammates in Overwatch after games and whatnot. I would be hugging
That's why I
somebody
always-
and be like whispering in their ear, "You should uninstall."
I always try to keep a good mood and
That's-
always say GG after the end of
That's
every game.
Grif's
no matter
version
how
of
bad it is.
ASMR right there. She just insults you.
Yes.
There would be people out there that would still listen to that.
That's awesome. All right, what we got next?
There was the Cataclysm event finally showed up in Anthem. If you want to talk about some other rando things, just
yeah.
lackluster as everybody would expect it to be.
For anybody that plays Anthem,
Man, there's only
Like
like 3
four
people,
of
and I
them?
don't think they. Oh, 4 of them.
there's
I
got to
don't
be
think they
4
listen
because
to
it's a
our
party of
podcast.
4, right? So there's got to be 4 left that are playing this game.
Five, because I sold a copy to a kid on Xbox like last week.
So
there you go.
5 people.
Told
Holy shit.
them that it's online only. It's kind of he's like, yeah, I've got some friends and we play with. Oh, okay.
Enjoy, bruh. You do you.
Which
So
this event is like, what is it? 6 months late.
Yeah,
no,
it's-
it's May is when it was supposed to be released.
It's late
4 months,
regardless,
3
and
months
it's also coming without a lot of the other updates that we should have had before then. So
And it's reintroducing bugs that they've already fixed.
amazing.
So it's
Because
causing
they were
Cataclysm. Got it.
totally ready on this and we're working hard on it for 7 years and instead of dicking around.
No, they were
Well-
only working on it for a year and a half. They had 5.5 years of debating on what to do, and then a year and a half of actually making it.
The thing that kills me about this is like it's an 8-week event. It's timed, so you're creating this event. It's been postponed since May, and you fucked it up.
Yep.
Like this was your opportunity to go, guys, come back to the game. We know you loved it, and we loved it like for the first 10 minutes you played, and now we're giving you all the shit that that just.
I wanted so much from
Until-
that game.
So did
The game with service style so far to me, Sea of Thieves is the only one that's at least gone. We're gonna give you something once a month. We're gonna have our little events. We're
That
gonna
was
do this.
actually-
We have updates on a regular basis. Go to our Reddit. Go to our YouTube. Whatever. It's like they had all this stuff that was set up, and it was like everybody else is like, well, fuck it. We're a big company. We can do what the hell we want.
What engine did is it Sea of Thieves the Unreal Engine for, or is
Sea
that
of
their
Thieves
own engine, their own specific engine that they built?
I don't know on that one. I thought it was Unreal though,
I need
because
to-
the
I'm gonna
water
find
is
out.
so good.
Yeah, which I think it might be their own engine.
I wish I liked
They-
Sea of Thieves more. Like the
Sea of Thieves
idea
is-
of it is so good to me, and I am so glad that a lot of people love it so much. I know, And I'm glad that a lot of people have a lot of fun with it. I just wish that it held my attention more. And I don't know how to, like, I don't know what would fix that, to be honest. It's me. I'm broken. It's a me thing. It's me, not
so
them.
they used Unreal Engine 4, which is part of the reason why it is so because once they built the world, they're like, okay, cool. The Unreal Engine 4 is good for developers to use, and we can just change, adapt, move, add things pretty easily. Use the Frostbite engine, man, you getting dicked. Holy shit. And
That
the people
engine
who
sucks.
made it aren't even coming to help you figure it out how to fix all of your problems and add things like...
It's EA's own engine, right?
Yeah, Frostbite is their engine.
So it's like, why in the world, like, you should be able to operate that better than anyone in the world.
Like, it's because they
you
didn't
created
give BioWare the help that they needed. They're like, here, you guys can have these for a couple of weeks. Okay, they got to come back. It's like, no, they needed to stay on Anthem and work specifically on Anthem to make sure everything worked properly. But you took them off too early, and now look at the game. This is what
They had
what
so much
happens.
potential and went, meh.
Yeah.
So
Somebody
it was
higher up
good
must have been like,
gameplay.
oh,
The
well.
gameplay was really good. Just
Oh,
The
hell yeah.
flight
Dead-
in that
Dead
game
World.
feels amazing.
Oh, so good. Like the
I love the
gameplay was
concept
solid.
of I love the concept of you're overheating. Let's go through a waterfall. Like shit like that just was like so badass. And it's like, and nothing here.
There were so many small, incredible things about that game, but they just did not come together to like the full fruition of what they wanted that game to be, and it hurts, man. Come on. But
Cataclysm
it
is
what it
finally
is.
here. Unfortunately, Catatonia got here first. That was a comment on the Eurogamer article. That's
Oh my god,
That's pretty good.
It's so accurate that it hurts.
So funny. That's good. I like it.
Okay, so Valve's trying to fix some stuff about how people are abusing, developers specifically, abusing their upcoming releases feature, because apparently you can keep yourself on that list indefinitely, or you could until now.
Yeah, because you could kind of change your release date, and then you'd keep getting put up on upcoming release and whatnot. So, which we did talk about on the podcast a little while ago. So, if you remember that one, and we were talking about how eventually they're going to do something about it. Well,
Here
They've
we
done
are.
something about it.
and
And now basically what those developers have to do is they actually have to go back to Valve and say, hey, we're changing this date, and Valve has to approve it. So
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool.
yeah, so I mean, most people aren't gonna, especially if you have to go through all these hoops and loops and whatnot. They're gonna be like, all right, fuck it, whatever. I'm not gonna bother with it until we're ready to set a date, and then we'll change it, or we'll give them a date and then we'll keep it there. You can't cheat the system. So I mean, this is how you run a platform. I know we have our hits and misses with Valve, fully open and whatnot, but at least they're giving tools to people and trying to keep their platform moderated.
No more two years in open beta arc.
I'm sure they'll still have plenty of those.
Yeah, probably, because I don't think anybody keeps up with early
But at
access
least you
stuff.
have a shopping cart on this one.
Oh my god, a shopping cart. And you can buy more than 5 things without it flagging your card. Unless you're Oak, who buys 50 things and then it flags your card, because seriously, that's a problem.
It was one time, okay?
Yeah, now you've learned your lesson.
Exactly.
I like the top comment. I've heard more than enough stories about devs talking about how troublesome it is to communicate with Valve. So I wonder how this solution is going to actually pan out. Glad to see they're at least trying to fix it. Sounds like it'll work perfectly then. No more date spam.
Yep.
It's like,
right.
yeah. I mean, if it's going to be difficult to get in contact with them, then people aren't going to be able to date spam them.
Right?
So I guess that's a fix to it.
All right.
Oh.
The last one's kind of disturbing.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
it's a little scary. But it's
Yeah,
not the first time, unfortunately.
Yeah, so basically you have a YouTuber by the name of Supmato. Supmato. And he they've started this entire movement because he looks outside, and about 2 weeks he had no content, anything like that, and then he had Take-Two had sent investigators to his house to look around on his private investigators, because he had given out information on how to exploit and was giving out certain information on Borderlands 3 and other things.
It wasn't how to exploit even.
No.
It
well,
wasn't.
it was.
What he gave
He
out.
received information about a Twitch exploit.
And it was
Like,
all
he-
publicly viewable information. Basically, what it was the Borderlands YouTube channel showed off their Twitch stuff because there was going to be Twitch extensions and everything, and that led to the display of some of the test accounts' usernames on that specific piece of content, and all he did was went and look them up. And it wasn't even him that found that. That was brought to his attention by somebody else.
That's the thing, is somebody else did the legwork, and he's just reporting on
Yeah,
that legwork.
he was just talking about
Right.
it. So it's stuff that's already publicly available, and if you didn't want people to know about it, you probably should have, checked that out before you released that video to start with on the Borderlands side of it. But Take-Two then came to him like it was his fault, and he was exposing things. They also had his Discord channel taken down because what they claim is that he's got a premium subscription thing on YouTube where you can do, it's kind of like Twitch subs where you pay $5 and you get extra bonus content because you're actually subscribed to their channel, and that gives you access to his Discord. And they asserted essentially that he was charging people for access to additional information and exploits and stuff, and it's like, but he's not. That's a sub button that literally almost any channel can have. I mean,
Right.
and he's not giving you behind that paywall super secret access to a bunch of stuff that, would otherwise be redacted on, forums and whatnot. It's
You become part of his community.
It's Take-Two being archaic and not understanding how any of that works and making an example of somebody. Because like he said, it wasn't even him that found that information. He was just pointing it out because somebody else had brought it to him, and he's a bigger channel. I mean, Submatto's got some great content, by the way, if you're into the Borderlands franchise.
For now, until
I just think it's crazy that they've gone to the level of hiring private investigators to do that shit. And it was
Well,
a
they did the
10-month
same
investigation.
Yeah, and they did the same thing with the people that were making 5M, the GTA mod. They did the same thing to them, where they basically sent investigators to harass them. And it's just Take-Two being shitty. If you needed more reasons to not care about Borderlands, this definitely doesn't help. And I know a lot of people are, because the hashtag Boycott Borderlands 3 popped up in response to this, and a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't do that, that was just Take-Two, and it's not going to hurt Take-Two if you don't buy the game. Yeah, but I mean, this is just one more thing on the stack of reasons to not be interested in Borderlands 3. You got Randy Pitchford being an idiot, you've got all of the drama with all of the stuff from Gearbox. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is just one more, this is just one more thing on top of a list. So, I wanted to be excited about Borderlands, but I really couldn't care less now.
Yeah, and that like, I don't know if you guys can understand the extremeness of that, because Grif, everybody knows, is a fucking Borderlands fanatic. Like, she is a super fan. Well, was a super fan. But this is a person who, at least their moral compass is higher than their blindness loyalty to a game.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
take
a look at yourself and make a decision.
Yeah. Well, and even Matto, he was said in his video, I think it's like the first time in 7 years that there hasn't been a Borderlands game installed on his PC. Because he uninstalled after all of this. Like, it's been an uncomfortable
I don't blame
situation.
him. I mean,
and he's stepping away from the series. And he's like a pillar of the Borderlands community.
Yeah, getting assaulted by the company that you have been supporting so strongly over the years, and then them just to immediately turn on you instead of coming to you like hey man, we see that you're doing some stuff, we just wanted to talk about this and whatnot.
The civilized thing to do would have been like, these test accounts shouldn't have been up there, we didn't catch them at the time, and you've put a video up about them, can you pull the video? And he's a nice dude. He probably been like, hell yeah, you guys, no problem. No big deal.
Yeah, I know, right? Because then you're creating a rapport with the company that you admire so much, rather than, we're going to go ahead and send a couple of private investigators to your house because we know where you live.
Yeah, that's creepy.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like,
okay.
That extremely creepy.
He's got
I'm
a
gonna
family,
laugh
too. I mean, like...
When Borderlands 3 doesn't do so well, and they're just like, well, what happened?
But the thing is, and this is what really irritates me, because every outlet that posted about this this past week, the comments underneath are, I don't understand why you're all so upset. Boycotting it's not going to do any good. I'm super hyped about this game. I can't wait to play it. It's still going to be fucking huge. And that is shameful. If you're buying this day one, you are shameful, and I'm sorry. I know that directly goes to some people that listen to this podcast, and I'm very sorry. I still love you as a person, but that's a poor decision because you're supporting a company that is doing some really shady stuff and is in bed with some really shady people. I'm sorry.
Not a big. I mean, like your blind loyalty to it is
It's part of the problem.
Your blind
it's
loyalty
part of the
to
issue.
anything is a problem. Never be blindly loyal to everything. Always try to keep yourself in the middle, look at everything, and make an informed decision. That is how a fully functioning adult should handle every situation. Is never be blind.
Well, and if you
Because
are
then-
going to be that loyal to somebody or something, it should be someone that you know personally. Like, if Chicken was, like, in the middle of the night, woke me up, he's like, we got to get in the car and go right now. I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to do it. But, like, if somebody that I
We
only
have a long
tangentially...
rapport.
Yeah, there's a very specific set of people that would have that in my life, and it would never be, you know...
Chicken, Troy Baker, you know.
No, if
there's
Troy Baker
few.
showed up at my house, I'd be like, I have a lot of questions before I get in the car.
Yeah.
How did you know where I live? What do you need me for? How did you get in?
I mean, I used to be like
What cologne
a
is
Blizzard.
that? You know.
I used to be a huge Blizzard fanboy, but I have jumped off that train, and I can't. You can't defend people like that. I mean, you could definitely try, but I'm not going to because it's just not, one, worth my time, and two, I can see the shit that goes on behind it, and I can make a choice not to socialize with that. That's why I don't spend money on their games, except for Classic WoW. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just shameful.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a company power tripping and trying to make examples of somebody that didn't do anything malicious to start with.
Just handle it the right way, which is just talk to the person. Like,
Yeah.
don't, like why have we gotten so far into the internet world that we have to do stupid shit like that instead of just going, hey, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute? You know, this is so and so with the PR department or whoever from Take Two. Do you mind if we just sit down with the conversation? We appreciate
and a lot of
how much
companies
you've
would have
built our
dealt with it that
community.
way.
Like, you know, talk about how you've built up the community and you know, like, you know, you be honest with it or, you know, blow smoke, whatever you feel you're doing at the time,
Yeah.
but just make sure you're taking care of it. Like, it's just amazing to me that people don't handle it that way. I mean, could you imagine if it was one of us? Like, if one of us had handled the business, like, we'd turn around and like, I don't know, somebody found out where, you know, the BTS pop things are behind Baka's head, and, like, they're going to steal them, you know.
Showed
Grif's
up
not
at
going to
Baka's
send
house,
out a
knocked on
private
the door.
investigator to find out.
Yeah, she will.
I just,
You know.
I think that's not a great way to do business. But to be fair, 2K has
It's
not
horrible.
done great business ever. They've always been kind of the mobsters of the game industry, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just shady.
I hate that they
practices.
publish
And then,
so
like,
many games that I like. You know?
Well, and that's the thing is, but the way you get back at them on something like that is, like, you can still play their game, but wait for their game to go used if you're buying it on console, or wait for it to go on major sale to where they're not making a shit ton of money
Yeah.
off of it.
Borderlands
Because-
3 will sit on my Steam wish list for whenever it does come to Steam, and if it doesn't, then I'll just never purchase it on PC. And
You
I will
buy it
pick
next
it
year
up
at the
when-
Christmas sale.
Yeah, I'll pick it up
Probably
when
be on
it's
sale.
dirt cheap, and they're not going to make a damn cent off of me. And I'm sorry if you're offended because that hurts Gearbox, but Randy Pitchford's the one running Gearbox, and he hurts them more than my not buying the game does.
No, he's a
Yeah.
horrible human. Like,
Yeah.
everything that goes along with Borderlands 3 right now, there's nothing about it that
It makes me...
I would be interested
The
in.
situation with him is, at this point, super reminiscent to... You remember a few years ago when they finally fired the guy that was running Papa John's Pizza? Like, the
Yeah.
CEO that was Papa John? Because he couldn't not say racist things and all of that. They finally had to be like, look, in order to save the company, we gotta kick you out, bro. Like, that's where this is gonna go with Pitchford, is eventually, if Gearbox wants to save themselves, they're gonna have to get rid of him.
Eventually, for
But
sure.
he's so entrenched in the company that he'll probably just
Well, he's got
self-destruct and take it all
51%, so
down
he's
with
the
him.
deciding
so.
vote.
Yeah, you'd think that most of these companies would have at least some sort of ethical clause in their fucking contracts. Like,
Yeah, but
if
he
you're a
owns that, then
shithead
he doesn't have
douchebag
to
or
adhere to
anything,
it.
He writes the contract. He
Yeah.
owns 51% of the company.
Yep.
then who owns the other 49%?
Everybody has to be ethically sound except for me. That's
Yes.
basically what the contract says.
Then you think the other 49% of the investors would go ahead and drop his ass, and then your company fucking plummets because you just lost half.
But they've got so many people that are gonna blind follow, just like everybody who's like, I don't understand why you want to boycott this amazing game. We've been waiting for years.
Stop being blind. Stop being blind. Holy shit! Get some damn glasses if you're that blind.
Well,
take off the blinders.
It's either they're blind or they share the same values.
Yeah,
that's
same
true
sentiments,
too.
and they think that it's fine that he acts the way he does, or that the publishing company sends out private investigators to a guy's family home to discuss with him a YouTube video instead of friggin' taking care of that on the phone like an adult. You just gotta put in them gangsta things.
I mean, if you can find his house, you can find his phone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, you can contact him. He's got an email on YouTube.
He's pretty out there. I mean, you should be able to find him pretty easy.
Yeah.
I hate that it's destroying so many people that are really ardent supporters, because up until this, like, basically all he was doing with that video was trying to, extend the hype and create more hype about it so that people were excited still about this thing that they've all been waiting for and looking forward to together. And they came and just not only diminished that hype, but made themselves look bad, and then took away somebody that had been an ardent supporter of theirs, because he's not supporting them right now. Like, he's taking a huge break because he just needs to kind of process the fact that the publishing company sent crazy people to his house. I mean, like, that's a pretty
family's house.
Big
like,
deal.
Holy shit!
Kills me. I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither. And there are people out there. It's not that big of a deal. They didn't do anything. They just talked to him.
They went to his house unsolicited.
Yeah, at his house. No call, nothing. They just knocked on the door. He opened it up, and there were 2 private investigators standing at his door. And like, it's one of those things where you don't even have to talk to them
like,
either.
I've met people that were private investigators, and my thing is like, I feel like if a video game company calls you about what the issue is, that you kind of go, I'm going to watch a few of his videos and see what they're talking about, and watch his videos and go, I'm just going to go knock on his door. You know what I mean? Like, let me go knock on his door and talk to him and have a conversation. Just go back and go, dude, this is what it was. Because I just don't. I feel like that they're just as shady. It's like they have the same guys that are always their private investigator, like on call.
Yeah,
right.
They probably.
And I'm picturing like 2, Guido-looking dudes with the hair slicked back.
That's not cool.
Like,
oh my god.
It is very mafia-esque, though.
Yes, definitely.
And to
I mean,
be
they
fair,
could be
like,
hitmen,
how
too, to
much
show
free
up at
time
your
and
house.
resources do they have? They did a 10-month investigation on this guy who's essentially not doing anything. Like, geez, I wish I had that much free time and resources to just fuck around with.
Right?
God.
Must be nice. These guys made almost a full year's paycheck.
Yeah. Off of investigating a YouTube guy that didn't even put up something that was shady or hidden or anything. It's something that your stupid company publicized and, like, made public in the first place. That's on them, not him.
Do you think they staked him out the whole time? Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Like, for 10 months, they're just sitting out in a car going...
No, they probably watched all of his online activity. Yeah. And they probably had somebody that had joined in his Discord to sit there and watch it.
Yep, for sure. Definitely. And they probably kept track of his movement and who he was calling and pretty much, like, everything.
How often he was posting content, what kind of content it was, where he was posting the content.
That's crazy.
That shit is scary. Because, first of all, if you know how to use technology, you can get into anybody's anything. All you got to do is hack it. So
we're not saying you should. That's illegal.
No, hell no, it's illegal. But yeah, I'm sure that they were doing some
not so legal
to
things
get around.
Themselves.
Yeah.
Even more concerning is they won't point out what he did that was illegal to start with.
Because he didn't do anything illegal.
You can't point out something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you can't point to what it was that he was doing that caused you to
let me point to my hair.
10 months, I mean, yeah, you can't justify that. Anyway.
It's not going to go anywhere in court.
Hell no.
Well, we got anything else to talk about?
No, that's pretty much it. That was a pretty good episode.
This is the most content we've had to talk about in weeks.
Well, lots of interesting discussions, that's for sure.
A little over an hour. Yeah.
And now Baka immediately has to go get ready for work. Have fun at work, Baka.
Yeah.
No.
Go make me my money.
Stupid people moving and questing weekends off.
Alright.
We appreciate everybody that hangs out with each and every week in Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDBOaktree. Check out Grif.
At Grif's Linum.
Check out Chicken.
Elite Chicken 313.
Check out Baka.
At Baka Pickle.
Also, make sure you go to Grif's YouTube channel where she's currently playing through Red Dead Redemption 2, episode 40-something. 40 something.
I think, well, I only posted one video. Last week was kind of heavy, and I just kind of disconnected from a lot of stuff that I should have been doing, which included posting videos. So there's only one video for last week. There'll be 2 videos for this week. And next week, or week after that, there'll be 3, and we'll be back on track. So,
yay!
Sorry, everybody.
Back on track. So make sure you go in there and watch her try to drive a horse. I'd say ride, but...
Yeah. It's difficult.
If you're riding the
guys.
horse, it wouldn't hit a rock. I'm just saying.
My horse would have more self-preservation.
Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313. Chicken, what you got this week?
Classic tonight, and then I fucking don't know, either Teamfight Tactics or Overwatch for the rest of the
We'll
week.
find something to do. Maybe we'll find something
Yes.
fun to do this week. We'll see.
Something fun. You mean Overwatch isn't fun? Well,
Something
that
differently
doesn't
fun.
make me yell at you constantly.
But that's the story
So
of
something
my life.
that doesn't trigger her rage.
He married into that.
Oh yeah, trust me, I knew what I was getting into. I had 5 years experience beforehand.
Also, make sure you go to mixer.com/MDBOaktree, where you can check me out just about every single day. Back on. I'm back on. Yay!
Welcome back.
I'm excited. Where tonight I'm playing through Oxygen Not Included. Might be playing that most of the week, I think. Kind of enjoying it. The Quantum Break's something I'm doing on my own on the backside of it, just trying to get through it. And then going back into... I think I'm going to end up probably streaming Final Fantasy 15 at some point.
Are you going to
So,
start
but
over,
I
or are
want-
you just going to pick up from where you're at?
Starting over.
Okay.
Starting over. So other people can watch it and that type of thing.
That's
We'll
a
see.
long one, though. It's just
It's a very long one.
you're
It's
getting
very
into a
super
while
long,
for that,
though.
because I know you usually like to stream ones that are in and out. That one you're going to
Yeah.
have to commit to if you want to do that.
Some of
Commitments.
those extended stay hotels.
Might be one of those every Monday.
Every Monday, it'll only take you about 3 years to finish it.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
No, it doesn't. All right. We appreciate it. Everybody have a great day. For Infinite Respawn, I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
I'm chicken.
Baka.
See ya.
Bye.